Hello everybody and welcome to my channel. I hope you're having a good day so far. Today we're going to be talking about Kylie Cosmetics. If you saw the new holiday 2018 collection from Kylie Cosmetics, and if you are anything like me, then you probably looked at that collection and you probably were thinking, wow, that's a boring makeup collection. And I'm not trying to bash Kylie Jenner. I'm not trying to hate on her or anything. I really I'm very indifferent, I feel like, but I do feel like this collection from Kylie Cosmetics is boring. It could have been so much more than it is. I want to redesign certain parts of the collection. I want to give you guys my critique, my opinions of this collection, and things that I think are great about it and things that I think could have been improved on or could have been done a different way. I will also be taking you through and showing you guys my redesign of the eyeshadow palette that was in this collection as well, and I'll be giving my critique on that palette as well.
12 o'clock midnight.
Okay guys, so this is future Anya here, back at it again, editing this video, and I do want to mention that there will be timestamps since I am covering a lot of information in this video and it's going to be a slightly longer version of a video. I do want to let you guys know that there will be timestamps in the description box below for you guys so you can skip around and just see the parts that you want to see in this video, such as the analysis, or if you just want to see my redesign of the palette. The timestamps are down below.
12 seconds later.
Kylie Cosmetics is doing really well. And obviously, yes, I'm just a girl sitting in her bedroom filming a video. I don't really know much about marketing. I just know what I see and I kind of have my interpretations of everything and my thoughts about everything. But I do think that Kylie Jenner, she's very lucky in the sense that she has a big following and she has an audience for pretty much anything she puts out. So I think that she has the chance to be a little bit more experimental. She has the chance to release something that's a little bit more unique. And honestly, like in my opinion, that's not being done. I think that she's releasing a lot of items that just tend to be fads and they tend to die out pretty quickly, and it just happens over and over and over again. And in my opinion, as the Kylie Cosmetics customer keeps buying the items over and over and over again, I do think that at some point they're going to reach to like a level of boredom with the line and with the products that she's selling, and we have been seeing that a lot of items, some of the items in this collection especially, and some of the items in other collections that have launched have not sold out as quickly as they have in the past. And in my opinion, I think that's because the customer, the Kylie Cosmetics customer, has just gotten a little bit bored. So what we have here is my view of the Kylie Cosmetics website at the time that I am about to post this video. It is now November the 27th, 2018. So this is what the website looks like. I think that if you look at this page, you can definitely see that a lot of items are sold out, but when you compare it to when Kylie Cosmetics first started, at the time the entire collections were selling out. But here we have a little bit of a discrepancy. People seem to really like some like of the metallic lip shades. I think that the metallic trend is kind of dying, so I don't know how long they'll be able to sell metallic finishes, but they seem to be doing pretty well. Something I do want to mention is the fact that this is the first cream shadow that sold out in the collection. Because when I was filming this video, I noticed that both this champagne color and this gold color, those are still in stock, and I believe that Kylie Cosmetics has released similar shades before. Let's go to the eyeshadow palettes, okay, because I love eyeshadow palettes and I want to talk about them. If you look at the eyeshadow palettes, you do see some eyeshadow palettes that are a little bit different, but you see a lot of eyeshadow palettes that are similar. The summer palette is so similar to the holiday palette. The only difference that I see is like maybe this dark color right here and some of the red shades, and you will see throughout, especially with, for example, this palette. I mean, this palette does look different compared to this palette right here, but you see a lot of similar shades. You see a lot of similar peachy tones, a lot of similar transitions, highlight shades, etc. Same thing with the bronze palette and same thing with the peach palette. These look so similar. I'm sorry, they look really similar in my opinion. And also, when you scroll down and you see the Royal Peach palette, this color story also reminds me very much of the holiday collection palette, you know. So many people already have these palettes, and I feel like even though these palettes are still selling out, at some point, the Kylie Cosmetics customer is kind of gonna get sick and tired of basically getting the same palettes over and over again, because you are seeing people on the internet right now that never wore color, that never were interested in sort of like doing something different. Now they're wearing color and they're kind of stepping outside of their comfort zone. And I feel like that speaks to a new trend, a new major trend that's coming, especially in 2019 and maybe even 2020. Is I feel like we're going to be seeing a lot more colors and a lot more unique kind of color stories. And I feel like Kylie Cosmetics, they're in a position that they can sort of get ahead of this trend and that they can really just use their fantastic selling ability to create items that are truly groundbreaking and truly like intriguing to someone that's not even a Kylie fan. Like, I want to go and redesign this palette because I want to create a palette that anyone that likes color or even people that like neutrals would be interested in getting. But at the same time, I want to create a palette that is what I think the Kylie Cosmetics customer wants. So right now we have such an oversaturation of product on the market. We have 1,000,001 palettes that look like this. We have so many palettes that look like this. We have so many palettes that look very similar to each and every one of these palettes, you know, and each and every one of these eyeshadows. I feel like it's time that brands actually thought about what they were releasing and thought about creating items that were unique and that were interesting. So this is my interpretation of that.
One debt to society later.
I feel like with this palette, I really wanted to take inspiration with that light blue, and I wanted to come up with a palette that was a little bit blue themed, but at the same time very neutral, very easy to wear, very versatile. You have transition colors in here. You have bronzy colors. You have light colors that you can use in your inner corner, and you have a lot of neutrals. But at the same time, you have some more unique shades, and you have room to play around. So let's just go through each and every shade, and I'm going to tell you the shades that I kept, and I'm going to tell you the shades that I did not, and I'm going to give you my reasons. So the first shade is called Cuddle Season. Now, this is one of the shades that I actually kept, and the reason is I do feel like the Kylie Cosmetics customer is a person that likes to wear transition shades. In the tutorials that I've seen Kylie Jenner do, she uses a transition shade, and she tends to like that a lot, and a lot of people still like doing that. So this is a transition shade that I just left in. I felt like if I took this shade and made it completely different, it would take away from the fact that this is, at the end of the day, a Kylie Cosmetics holiday palette. And I didn't want to take away the Kylie Cosmetics identity from the palette with my recreation, so I just left it in there. So the next color is called Just Chill. Now, Just Chill originally was this very neutral mid-tone taupe. I didn't really like it, so I added in a very light, almost white, frosted, foiled highlighter color. Now, this is something that I think would look beautiful in the inner corner, in the brow bone. I feel like it would be such a great shade to add into this palette because it would work for so many different skin tones. And I just feel like it's a good color to have because you can use it with pretty much every single look you create. So I love this color, and I really wanted to include a super light, bright highlight shade in this palette. And I felt like there wasn't really a very good highlight shade in this palette to begin with, so I just wanted to add that in there as well. So the next color is called Cold Hearted. Now, Cold Hearted was originally a kind of like a pinkish mid-tone foiled color, and I didn't really feel like this was anything that the Kylie Cosmetics customer didn't have. So what I did is I upped the pink and I made it into like a peachier foiled color. I feel like people still like a lot of peaches, and this is exactly the type of shade that someone could put all over their lid and it could look very flattering, very beautiful. It's very similar to the previous color, except that it's a little bit more unique and a little bit more different. Then the color below that is called Mrs. Claus. Now Mrs. Claus is a color that I did want to leave in this palette. I really liked this color. I feel like it was a really pretty, kind of like interesting silvery color, and I wanted to leave it in there. And then the color next to that is called Pray for Snow. This is again a color that I just wanted to leave in the palette because Kylie Jenner herself seems to be very much into very bronzy foiled shadows, particularly all over the lid. So I felt like if I took this out, it would not make this a very Kylie palette, and I wanted to leave it in because I feel like the Kylie Cosmetics customer can use that shade and probably will end up using that shade quite a bit. Then below that we have this color called Make Magic. Now Make Magic, first of all, it was a mid-tone taupe. I don't understand this attraction to mid-tone taupes within this palette. I don't get it. So what I did is I made this a transition color, okay? So it's still a fantastic transition color, except that now it's a more of a dusty rose. It's not something that everybody has in their makeup collections already, and I like it. You know, it's a transition color, okay? But it's more unique. Then the color next to that is called Home Alone. Now, Home Alone originally was a sort of like a brownish foiled color. I didn't like it. You know, it had a little bit of purple in there, it had a little bit of burgundy, but all that was just overshadowed by the fact that this is, at its core, a neutral foiled brown color. Didn't like it. So what I did is I made it a dark kind of mid-tone violet color. Very cool tone, so it matches the blue aesthetic of the palette, it matches the packaging, it goes together with everything else in the palette, and it's very foiled, so it would look beautiful on the eyes at a holiday party. It's just a very beautiful shade to wear in my opinion. And I think that this is a beautiful color. I feel like it's such an improvement compared to the last color. Then below that we have the color called Bundle Up. Now Bundle Up was a warm toned brown color, mid-tone brown, very basic. What I did is I made it into a very rich, saturated violet kind of plum color. You know, I love this color. You know, this is such a beautiful, flattering shade in my opinion on so many people when it comes to holiday clothing, when it comes to sweaters, when it comes to like party outfits, and I feel like this would be such a beautiful color to wear on your eyes. Just imagine having that rich, saturated, matte plum all over your eyelid, or maybe as an accent in your outer corner. This would be such a beautiful color. Even if you want to just wear the color Pray for Snow, which is that bronzy color, you can easily just take Bundle Up and you can just put it into your lower lash line, or you could use it in your outer V to really deepen things up a little bit. So you can have a little bit of color, but it doesn't have to overtake the entire look if you don't want it to. And then the color next to that is called Jingle Baby. Now Jingle Baby used to be a light-ish champagne-y color. I didn't really like it too much, so what I did is I took inspiration from the packaging itself and I made it a variation of a light pastel blue. Now, I was toying around with the idea of color matching the palette's packaging color and making an eyeshadow out of that, but then I realized that was way too light and I don't think that a lot of people would enjoy wearing that kind of shade. So what I did is I made it a little bit deeper, I added a little bit more blue to it, and I made it a mid-tone pastel blue color. This is the kind of color that some people may like, some people might not like, but I like it because it's unique. It's unique, and yet it's a color that a lot of people can find ways to wear in their look. I think that someone would be able to purchase this palette and they would know that they don't have that shade in their collection. It's just a fun shade, you know, it's interesting, and I feel like it fits into the theme of the palette, and I would love this shade personally. Like, as a color lover, I would love this color to be in a palette. Then below that we have the color called Plum Pudding. Now, Plum Pudding was a dark brown foiled color. It's just dark brown foiled color. So basic. So incredibly basic. We all have a dark brown foiled color in our makeup collections already. So why not make it a dark blue foiled color? It's, again, taking inspiration from the packaging, except I made it a lot darker and I really wanted to maintain that foiled quality. I love the idea of having a dark blue foil shade. It would look so beautiful in the outer corner, lower lash line, or even all over the lid. Such a beautiful, flattering holiday color. Now that's a color that I would love to see in this palette. So much more unique and interesting compared to the brown that it was before. Then we have the color called Wrap It Up. Now Wrap It Up is a mid-tone transition color. There are so many transition colors in this palette, my face is turning blue. So I turned it into a blue. So this is pretty much a electric, very vibrant but still muted blue color. It's a matte and I love it. I really wanted to add that blue theme in, and this fits in to that theme very well. And I think that it's beautiful. You know, it's a very holiday appropriate color. It's very winter appropriate. I feel like there's so many pans in this palette that are wasted by simply having so many transition colors. And adding colors such as this dark, bright blue in place of a transition color makes this palette so much better in my opinion. Then below that we have the color called Spirit. Now I was looking at this color for quite a bit and I thought that it was kind of a shimmery, kind of sort of like a greenish brown color. And I was like, okay, I like the idea that this is a sort of like a greenish color, so why not take the green and just expand it into a darker, more sort of mossy green. This isn't foiled, it's a shimmery color, meaning that it would be so flattering all over the lid. It's not necessarily something that is super hard to wear, and it even has a little bit of olive in there. And I think that before we had that weird in-between shade that honestly, like if you put that shade on the eyes, it will look like a neutral brown color. But now we have this beautiful green color and I feel like it's such an improvement. And I also think that it really goes together with this next color, which is called Night Before Xmas. Now this is a very foiled looking light, sort of like greenish color, sort of like a greenish gold. And I felt like before there wasn't really anything in this palette that really just helped tie the color into the palette. I felt like this color in the previous palette, in the original palette, it was kind of like a weird standalone shade. But I think that with the modification of that green color with the color Spirit, I feel like this color is supporting the Night Before Xmas. I feel like it's supporting that color so well, and those colors look beautiful together, and they especially look beautiful with the color below that called Hello Winter, which I also decided to leave the way it was. So yes, Night Before Xmas and Hello Winter are two colors that I decided to leave the way they were because they're neutral colors, okay? They cater to the Kylie Cosmetics customer, but they still support and they still go with the modified colors in this entire palette. So that is the modified palette right here. This is what it looks like. I love this palette. I would have loved to see this in the Kylie Cosmetics holiday collection or something similar to it, because I feel like before the palette was a little bit, you know, lackluster. It really wasn't what it could have been, and I do think that it would be so great to see more attention paid to theme and more attention paid to the Kylie Cosmetics customer with these palettes. And yes, I know that this palette has already been sold out, so people still probably like it, you know, but I think that personally when I look at this palette, I see a palette that has been done before by the same company multiple times, and I would have loved to see a palette that was a little bit more unique, a little bit more different, a little bit more, hey, yeah, this is a holiday palette, and it's something that you guys, meaning the Kylie Cosmetics customers, haven't seen before from this brand. So I think that that would have been so great. But unfortunately, we do have the basic Kylie Cosmetics right now at this point. I do think that the brand is capable of being a little bit more out there. From what I can see, they're very secure financially, and they seem to have a very, very interested customer base. but I do think that there's always room for improvement, and I just wanted to give you guys my thoughts with this palette. So that is pretty much it for this video. It was a little bit of a long one, and I did it a little bit differently this time. I do love the idea of redesigning these palettes and redesigning these makeup items. I just feel like it's so interesting and it's so cool to really just look at makeup brands from a really analytical standpoint and to see what can be made better. I love watching videos like these online. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye guys.